Wait a second.
So funny.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. That's strange. I'm moving Kellyanne around now.
Whee!
Ooh!
That's okay. The screen that it was showing me before I hit stream and the one I came back to seemed to be slightly different.
I'm like, yeah, just a little bit off center.
So
I mean,
some
to be
people are a little
fair,
bit
my
off,
character is just
right?
a little off center.
So Christina, you're just gonna have to duck down.
Hold on. Ready? 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 Hold on. That's a little bit too low. How's that?
There you go.
I now feel very short.
It's okay. I am in fact planning on fixing it because that seems like the right choice
Mhm.
for anybody who's joining us. Or
Let's
it'll
see,
be
we
great
go.
in the YouTube.
Are you started?
Gotta get my notes out.
Okay, well there you go.
Oh.
See, that's we have most of Christine available there. I'm gonna take 1 second to fiddle with KC2.
And probably Bodhi a little.
So
We'll
this
see
is-
about Bodhi. You guys get to see what I do behind the scenes here.
Ooh, hey, there's two of you.
They're
I
multiplying.
like because there's a delay,
Oh,
so we
God.
laugh about it like 10 seconds after it happens.
See now, this way, like I like to see Willa just has some trees behind him there above his head.
Yeah.
It's all part of
Perfect.
that.
So living picture frame thing.
Ooh. I mean, I'm perfect. I don't see
What the problem is.
Yeah, 100% sure there.
Whoop.
Well, we're gonna call that good for Casey, and then we'll fiddle with Bodhi just briefly.
Well, that was weird.
Oh, except for that's not Bodhi.
Ah. Ah.
I mean, if I
flashing
need to alter my
underneath
settings, I
the lid.
can.
It's not you, it's me.
It is.
Oh, that's not a good conversation.
That is the first time I've heard that, though.
Ah.
So they
Oh.
always said it was you?
Yeah.
Give me some names.
Oh no. Oh no, this is definitely you. Yeah.
I need names
me.
and possible locations and a good alibi.
Oh, it's okay. I've already taken care of it.
Okay,
I'm a Slytherin, remember? Come
Ha 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 ha. Wait.
that's true.
on.
Okay,
made me
well
not
there
funny.
we'll call that good.
Hear what?
Yeah.
We
no,
had
it's
some
good.
technical difficulties. I'm still recovering from a blue screen of death that happened right before we were gonna go live. So that's exciting. That's how you know this is live and not rehearsed. And what's that other word? Not professional. That's it. Okay.
We're
Aw.
live.
There's still some. But that being said, we are here and we're live, and there's lots of fun stuff. We'll start with some news from afar, which is going to get into more than news from afar, into like battles from afar, because it turns out that it's time for War in the Shire.
Whoa.
With
Whoa.
Blanco being captured by this warlord dude, they said Shire said enough of that, and the Shire roused itself and headed south to go rescue him. Asking for some aid from Arthedain, and I guess it's good to foster those connections because Arvigil and that's the prince, and Belial showed up with a bunch of elves from Lorien that had been up there for some reason, who knows. Um, And it appears that Cardolan had also kind of headed in for the warlord. So we've got their army being attacked by by three sides, and it's the first thing that we're going to do here on scene. The fun part is, right, as soon as like you get this picture of all these hobbits charging these min camps, that like out from the back, like there's a big roar, and they release this horde of trolls that the warlord was keeping hidden behind there. So
Oh my.
you get this fight of like a whole bunch of hobbits versus a bunch of trolls. Luckily for the hobbits, there's also elves, so they show up and do things, and that's probably better.
Yay, elves.
So we've got three. We got to break it up into three different fights. Let me. See what I got here, and we were just going to get started with that. Our first. So the hobbits themselves end up fighting about 200 min, orcs, trolls, and really large bats.
That sounds bad.
So there are 1,100 hobbits, so they outnumber them 55 to 1. So if you want to have this picture of how many hobbits are on that troll, the answer is 55.
Oh god. Oh
I
god.
believe in them.
Oh god. There could be. I mean, this battle is winnable, but like there could be casualties.
So by the book, outnumbering your opponents by 55 gives you a 150-point advantage,
Oh well, we got this.
which is enough to give the hobbits the lead. Although it's a good lead, but not an insurmountable one in their part of the fight. I suppose we should save the hobbits for last. Well, no, we'll go with the hobbits. Work our way down here. So, Willard, you are the natural hobbit roller for us.
Of course. Naturally. What am I rolling? D20?
Percentile dice.
D100.
D100.
I got a 6 and a 4.
Oh.
64.
That's
So
pretty good.
Not just a 6, which is good.
Just a s-
Not a 0.
Because I got a 95 for the trolls against the hobbits.
Wow.
How? Hey,
Bruh.
you don't roll that well. Stop that.
Bruh.
That's illegal.
I'd rather he get it out now than against us later.
Right.
Duh.
Sorry, shadow players.
What if he's just starting the day off good and all his rolls are like that?
Well,
Right.
That's just
So-
that's not how probability works.
Yeah, that's
You are
also
correct.
that's not how Greg's luck works.
Also, yeah.
Okay, so it ended up being a pretty close fight, but the hobbits are still slightly ahead. And they do force them to retreat, which is important. Take 10% casualties, but the trolls only take 20%. So
I mean, still, that's not bad. That's not a bad outcome.
Yeah, taking low casualties and winning the battle is probably pretty good.
Hmm. Especially because you got some more stuff happening.
So next on the list is our Cardolan folks doing the fight. They also brought a whole bunch of people and have to fight just a small group. So they end up with a advantage that's slightly less than the hobbits. Side note, I gave the hobbits also a small bonus for heroic actions from Arthagil and Belial. And it turns out that that bonus was really, really relevant to the success. So certainly the contingent from Arthedain did some good stuff fighting next to Marco. Side note, Marco, who I sometimes pronounce Marcho, marched south in March for his action. I just wanted to make sure that I said that tonight
March
at
south in
once.
March.
But who wants to roll for
Marches.
Cardolan? Who never usually rolls for anybody?
You know, Nestriel hasn't rolled, I think.
Yeah, I think she's the only one actually.
Well,
I've
yeah.
got a nose goes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, right.
Well, the
Yeah.
champion of Lorien
There's
has
a
to
delay.
roll for the Lorien elves, so
Yeah.
that
that
leaves
makes sense.
Nestriel for Cardolan.
Look, man, all I got is Mirkwood.
Remember, Cardolan is the we're already destroyed country, so what worse could you do to them?
So,
We gotta say it like that.
what words can? I think she could do the best.
All right. What do we get today? How are we starting?
Roll-
76. Not awful.
Hey.
It's good.
Take it.
Well, I continued my low streak, 15 here.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
I heard I
Yeah.
continued mine for a minute. I was like, oh fuck.
I was about
Not
to,
his high streak.
I was about to protest.
Oh, there we are. Now it's back to normal, guys.
Yeah. See, nothing to worry about.
Okay, so 122 point win. That's a complete destruction for Cardolan, or 70%
Cardolan.
casualties to the bad guys.
Oh, okay.
Say 70?
Unless you think Cardolan's the bad guys, because they only took 10.
Nice.
Yeah, there's good.
Ooh.
70 is a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
It's
no,
almost
that
the highest
is.
on the chart.
Yep.
That's ooh.
You're welcome, I think.
Well done.
So, yeah, now for some elves. Now, the thing about the elves, there's only 100 elves, and there's 100 trolls, so they don't get any bonus. So it's just straight battle rating against battle rating, pretty much. They're both not in their home country. There's not a lot of modifiers here. So the elves are only up by 12 already. They're up by 12.
Oh no!
Serena,
Don't put this
ready,
pressure on me.
So they're well within the probability curve of losing this fight.
Yeah.
And right now I've rolled 15 and 95, so who knows what's going to happen next. Are you ready? Let's do it.
All right,
No,
everybody
definitely
stare at
not.
it. Everybody stare at him.
Okay, I rolled a 76.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh,
That's-
copycat.
That's perfect because I rolled an 88. Do you realize what happens when you do the
The
math?
tie.
It's a tie.
It's
Well,
a
you
tie.
didn't lose, so there's
Wow.
that.
What are the odds? One. The odds are one because it just
I
happened.
mean, and really, this battle could be crucial. Just even holding them off or having a tie. I don't know what happens if a tie. What?
I don't know. The chart doesn't have a
just
zero on it.
conclusive battle?
Well, then I would say that the elves should win because they're elves. But, you know, I might be biased.
I mean, this definitely means that the elves just ran them around, right? Like they had this whole thing where they just like trolls just got chased around like this, and nothing actually happened, and neither side takes any casualties for that.
Wow.
There.
I'll take it.
Oh,
Well, that was unexpected.
there's a lot of yeah.
Okay.
What's that music?
But not unwelcome.
So that group of
That
trolls that was fighting the elves eventually, after running around a lot, noticed that the other two groups were getting beat and decided to go follow them. Good news for the side of good, though. Nobody had more than 10% casualties, so you're not talking more than like 500 dead hobbits.
Wait, how many hobbits were there?
10,000 hobbits.
Wow.
That's a lot of
Wow. I didn't
hobbits.
even know that there were that many hobbits.
I mean, you weren't kidding when you said that you guys breed fast.
It's most
Did
of
I
the
say that?
Shire.
Well, somebody did. I can't remember who
They
said
mustered
it.
the whole Shire.
Kellyanne.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Just slot that right along with everybody does murdering sometimes.
that was a great moment.
Was it?
It was.
In the annals of role-playing, the moment that we talk about the most is the greatest of moments. That's the actual metric, just so you know.
That's how you know.
Therefore, since we've talked about it a lot, it's the best.
Murdering.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's it for far. It looks like the Shire did okay. The Warlord and his trolls that he was keeping hidden have been beaten back and are probably headed down the river, kind of towards the ocean, because that's the only real direction they could go. And we'll see what happens to them later. The only other major news from afar is that there's a what's now called the Scar of Darkness, out by Mirkwood in the East Bight, and you hear you're not supposed to go there, generally.
Okay.
I mean, that just makes me want to go there.
We'll definitely avoid.
No, you won't.
You
Will you?
guys
Stop,
won't know. You're going to Mort.
stop lying to us.
I get news from
Meanwhile,
afar too.
the party is getting ready to
No, wait,
depart.
Doesn't Willie get news from afar?
Yeah, he gets that news
See?
from afar. That's what he
That is
got.
news? That's what he got.
Industrial,
Yeah.
that's the usual. As you might be able to see, I've split the screen up into two sections here. The forest side and the mountain side. And because in theory, right now you guys are packing up into two different groups. There's Allred and the Elves, which is also his band name,
Already the elves.
who are planning on heading towards Mirkwood, and Willid and Gundyr and Kellyan, and no NPCs, 0 NPCs, have an axe to grind with Durin, I guess. So
Aha! But it's okay.
This axe never needs to be grinded. It's perfect.
always ask the perfect question.
Ah, yes, I love this. This is great. This is
Oh
great,
my
guys.
God.
I'm
All
excited.
right, all right. Never mind. I'm checking this axe into the ocean.
Okay, so I assume none of that is changing. Gundyr, you did get some additional information. Do you want to have any parting words with the other group before you go?
Yeah, I kind of do. Mostly because I disagree with splitting up.
I'm so excited.
I really disagree.
I agree with your disagreeing.
I
God,
agree
dear.
with my disagreement. Well, I'm glad people
Did
are
you
also
say-
disgruntled with my disagreements.
Did you say that
No,
you got
I
a
agree
note?
with your disagreeing.
I did. I got a letter via Eagle sent to me by Urza, who basically confirmed my initial instincts of something might be wrong in Moria. Of more like there is definitely something wrong in Moria.
Based on what?
Based on what she knows.
Can you read it to us, or
Yeah,
is
well,
it?
that's really vague. Come on, if you want to pull this party together, you got to get concrete.
Yeah, my prophecy was.
All right, all right. Here it is. It's let's see. The scar is to be avoided. She says that the dark rift in the earth holds old secrets. I don't know if I should have said that, but
You say.
it holds nothing. It holds
he
nothing
gonna-
but pain and sadness. There is a mystery in Moria, and I have no answers. But the dwarves have been old friends to the North people, and we need to help them whenever we can.
Maybe we should take some Northmen with us.
I think those two guys were gonna go with you. I can't remember the
I
names.
do think the box is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
Now, I
Look,
think
something is happening in Moria, and the box is in Moria, and I really feel like
based on the vision that you got from Galadriel, that's really concerning. Hey, does our news from afar include the fact that Arthedain sent troops with the hobbits to fight the warlord? They
Yes.
won?
You probably don't know the results of the battle yet, but you do know that Lorien troops were over there and that Arthedain was involved. Yeah.
Do we know that Belial and what's his face?
You probably know that they headed south. Yeah.
Okay, well that's makes me less worried. But your vision that you had, Allred, was not great.
No, it wasn't.
Makes me worried that we didn't. The ice. There was ice in your vision, right? I'm not misremembering. Or there was snow or winter.
There was an Ice
Mhm.
King.
Yes, the Ice King was there.
Ice King was there. So that just makes me think we might have messed up with the box somehow.
I think we were gonna mess up
And,
regardless.
like, Nestriel's got stuff to go take care of. I mean, if you
I
think it's more
understand
important,
that, but I
Nestriel,
really feel like we should do this first.
that's all. I just think the box is more important at the moment.
I'm not saying that your shit isn't important, but this. And I would really, really like it if our box expert was there.
You would have me break my word to the man who raised me.
I didn't. I mean, it's just a small detour. You're still gonna go there.
I mean, if
Breaking your word would be not going at all.
there's no specified time either.
Hmm.
But this is something I need to do for me. In order for me
when
to
one
step
gives
forward,
their word, you don't quibble about the details.
if I'm to step forward
Go up.
towards
I
a
might have-
potentially deadly event, I would like to be able to step towards it that I have done what I needed to do to make things right with the man who is my father in everything but blood.
Willard walks up to you and, like, reaches up and, like, it's like, I really understand.
Yeah, I
It
do
shouldn't take me very long, and we will go straight to you once we are done. If something changes, Medelinor, you are the most qualified to send a message should something change and let us know what has happened.
No detours to that, Scar. Not without everybody.
Yeah, I want your word that you're not gonna go investigate that scar by yourself.
It is on the way, and information is useful, but I understand your trepidation.
All right. I gotta trust your judgment. You know better than me. It's fine.
I will
think-
step forward as Nestriel towards Gund and put my hand on his face. Because he doesn't have his war helmet and he can't hide from me.
And even though I kind of want to now.
I know. Medelinor, it will be okay. I will come back to you.
All right.
I'll step back and take off my, what is it, white crystal necklace and put it over your. The star will guide me back to you.
I'm not well versed in Elvish culture, but I feel like this is a really big deal.
It is.
All right. Good luck talking to Thranduil. You're gonna need it.
I know.
As for the rest of us, I'm fairly confident we can handle whatever's in Moria. He said, probably regretting that.
I mean, we all have some idea of the magnitude of things that could be in Moria, right? If you're going to have a bucket, things that could be in Moria, it starts with empty air and works its way up to
Balrog.
Yeah.
Starting to regret telling Nestriel I fight a Balrog
No
for
one's
her.
guaranteeing it's the Balrog, alright? We have no suspect
But it's not
that
off
that
the
even
table,
exists
though.
there.
I mean, none of you have ever seen a Balrog in Moria.
Right.
Right.
I
And the
might have
guy-
read about
And the
them.
guy who has is sleeping in Rivendell.
Well,
Oh.
I mean, he's seen a Balrog, but not in Moria.
Right.
I mean, Galadriel's probably seen a Balrog too, for sure. But
I wonder if she's
Thranduil might
ever
have even
thrown
seen
down
one,
with
but maybe not. He kind of stayed out of those things. Anyways,
Yeah.
so look, I would like to make the commitment that it won't be worse than Balrog.
Wait.
So let's get going.
I would like to make. What does that mean, Greg?
See y'all losers? That's what that means.
Yeah, it means we're going the right way.
Okay.
Bye.
I do want to make sure before we do this that you guys have like a plan for what you're doing to meet up afterwards, so we're not actually just running two groups for a while.
Well, we need to find some sort of middle group, like
is it-
after Moria and.
We
Well,
go to
I'm thinking we go to Lorien after Moria.
Okay.
Like, that's more or
we
less.
do in Lorien, and if we're
And
not
if you guys
Lorien,
and if you guys are late or don't show up, one group will head to the other. Does that sound like a fair plan?
I can
Mhm.
almost guarantee you that we'll be meeting you somewhere down south. Should something change, send us an eagle. We have Dusk Heart, so we'll ride to you relatively quickly. Or if you want to arrange with those Great Eagles to get us alright, that'd be great too.
Well, I'm gonna arrange a ride with the Eagles to Moria because I ain't walking that shit.
No, we're gonna expedite this as fast as possible.
And since those Eagles tend to eat horses, I think you guys would be better off just taking Duskheart down there to Mirkwood.
We'll move quickly.
Okay, I'm gonna start then with the Mirkwood group, Allred and the elves.
All right.
Already.
good luck.
So your
Mirkwood, we love you.
Your journey is a medium journey. Your difficulty is not too horrible because you're elves going through Mirkwood. But you don't generally have your normal guides and lookouts for this one. So already you're probably our guide unless you want to have Legolas do it.
I was gonna vote Legolas. He's
Oh,
kind of the
I'll-
prince of the Woodrun realm.
Yeah, I have no problem letting him be the guide.
Who do you think he is? Gundyr?
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, well, one of you still has to roll for him even though he's an NPC.
Okay. You want to handle it?
Sure. I rarely do
a
rolling. What am I rolling?
It's
Eight
just a
or
D8
12?
for embarkation. See how your journey starts.
6.
Pretty good.
Okay. I'm sorry, it's a D12. I'm thinking of it. That's a rival. That's my bad.
Still 6.
All right. We'll take it.
Thank you, dice.
Don't ask
That makes
questions
sense.
about what's happening here.
Oh,
Okay. Was it still a 6? Is that what I heard?
correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Just figuring out his survival and wisdom bonus.
On the
High.
fly.
It's high.
Don't worry about it. Why do you think we survived trekking to southern Mirkwood just by ourselves?
With hopeful hearts and clear purpose, you embark with light hearts and a sense of hope, resolute and determined. You have advantage until the first time you fail an ability check during this journey.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Okay, let's do some journeying. Your first obstacle, I get to roll. No bonuses to this. Is easily foraged food and useful herbs. Well, that sounds really trepidatious.
I love
Boy.
useful herbs.
Yeah,
The-
right?
This group's odds of dying have now decreased by 15%. That's good.
Hey.
Who's ever hunting can make a wisdom survival check. I'm going to guess that's probably Gliriel.
Oh, yeah.
She sounds like a hunter.
Elves are so
D20?
useful.
And we have advantage, right?
Yeah.
Rolled a 15.
Okay. That's more than enough. So none of you are hurt, so you just have a good meal.
I'm down
Sweet.
for that.
Yep. So far, the journey's gone really well. You're all excited about it. It's been nice and quick. That's what you want: a quick, uneventful journey into the woodland realms, especially when you find a fine spot for a camp.
Hey, convenience. See, this is what traveling with almost exclusively elves is like.
Right? This is really lovely. I need to do this more often.
I see
Yeah,
this
you find a
happening.
good spot to camp. You've got undisturbed night. You've now removed 2 levels of exhaustion that you didn't have to begin with. So if you
Nice.
had anybody had any exhaustion, which you didn't. Okay. So well, they looks like they're gonna make it just fine. How about our Mirkwood group? Or our Moria group, excuse me.
You mean
Sorry,
Team,
I was on mute. Okay.
Team Moria?
I heard something about
Team Moria is gonna be fine because we're gonna take Eagles. Damn it!
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about this taking Eagles plan.
Not taking. We'll like politely ask with some fresh horse meat.
Pff, we ain't gonna do horse meat. No, we're gonna do this right. We're gonna give them a fantastic gift of roasted boar, basted in honey.
Ooh.
Need a couple more boars.
So you're gonna go
I
hunt
mean,
a bunch of
give 'em a
stuff,
couple.
put them out for the Eagles, and then try and get them to come down and say, "Hey, can you carry the 3 of us to all the way
Moria.
to Moria?"
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just.
And
Second
and,
work?
and,
It's a
plead our
long
case.
walk.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
we're
there's
gonna
something.
I
definitely
feel like if
plead
it
our
was that easy, yeah. Okay, well, maybe it'll work. Let's do it.
Okay, Gundyr. So you're gonna get your stuff. You're gonna do your thing. We're gonna make an audience roll with Gwei here, the Wind
Okay.
Lord, to try and get him to do a favor for you. He's an eagle, so you're at disadvantage.
Oh, okay.
Is this gonna need some charisma?
What's his name again?
Gwei here,
Gwei hair. Okay.
not gray hair. That's his brother.
Yep.
Way, way hair.
All right.
Eagles don't have hair.
I will go ahead and make my attempt.
What do you need? What are you rolling?
I'm gonna give you 1 up on the reaction chart because you guys talked to the Eagles last session, so that'll help.
Do you need like to roll persuasion?
Traditions.
Traditions.
What are you at?
With traditions,
Yeah.
I'm at a cool +0.
Right, I'm at a 4, so maybe I should
Okay,
help
maybe you should do that and give yourself like a bonus.
I can't give myself a bonus.
You're
I
like,
don't think.
damn it!
I don't think that's how it works.
I would shout across the ether, but we're already safely
You
in
can
Mirkwood,
do
so
it.
All right, traditions roll, and I have advantage, so.
And you have disadvantage, so that works out to 1
So
dice.
canceled out to a
Well, okay,
regular roll.
that worked out fine, anyways. So I got a 19 plus a 4, which is a
Ooh,
number. 19,
nice.
20, 21, 22, 23.
There you go.
not bad. See, good start. I don't know what you guys were so worried about.
Knock,
Yeah.
knock on wood.
Okay, they're giving you. They will grudgingly offer you a little bit. They are, in fact, not going to fly all the way south. That's a long ways and a ways from the Eagles Eyrie outside of the Anduin. But it says, given that you are friends of Ursa and that it appears that there might be some shadow on the land, some of us will travel you south to the next pass, to the next river, which is about halfway.
Which is
Oh,
which
yeah.
is colossal.
I will save us some time. Thank you so much for your time and for your benevolence in helping us in our endeavor.
Okay, Why don't all of you roll Constitution? Just make Constitution.
Why don't you go get a life?
Oh well.
Okay.
I shouldn't
19.
have mouthed off.
You kind of had this coming.
4.
Oh my god! All right. Well, I got
Wait,
a
like-
19.
Just like
I did
frozen to the
too!
side of the.
So
Don't-
Willet's just like.
Willard, you're not sure that being carried by eagles is your favorite mode of transportation.
Yeah,
as
I
it's
prefer
cold up
long
there.
walks on the trail.
You're in like a bad position. There's a talon digging into the back of your spine. All that stuff. As you are carried that
I'm
direction.
flying.
The view would be way better if you could open your eyes and they weren't frozen shut from the winter winds that are cold up here.
I'm so hungry.
So you get your level of
Yeah.
exhaustion, Willard.
It's gonna be real cold.
Willett lost 3 meals during the flight.
That second lunch, let me tell you, man.
What does
Yeah.
the first level of exhaustion do to you again? I can't remember.
Disadvantage on ability checks, or is that the second one?
That's the second one.
Yeah, that's second. That's
The
two
first one
levels
is
of
like your speed is halved or something.
something like that.
Is that on saving throws? Is it different for Middle Earth? I can't remember.
Oh.
Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out.
Reminds me, there we are. Some of the stuff I had prepared disappeared in my crash earlier, so don't have it up.
Oh no. Well, then I'll talk more about.
Yeah,
exhaustion.
disadvantage of an yeah, you have disadvantage on ability checks for the first level of exhaustion.
Okay. Well, with that removes one of your things. We should make a departure roll, though, or whatever we're calling it, embarkation. And
All right.
Gundyr, you're the guide up here
Yep.
in this territory. So make your D12 plus your survival plus half your wisdom,
Right.
minus the terrain difficulty.
All right. 5. Okay. Wow, that's pretty good. It's gonna be 16. I rolled an 11.
Boy, your terrain difficulty doesn't look too much this direction. So you're good. You're maxing out with that then for auspicious beginnings, which means you get to add 2 to your event.
Woo!
So let's see what happens to you on your way to Moria. Before we get to the fun role playing, right?
Right.
Oh, well, it turns out that not too long after the Eagles drop you off, that the melting spring sun is causing the rivers to be massively engorged, and what is normally an easy ford is now very challenging. It's an obstacle. Good news for you, you have no horses or ponies in your group.
Oh, good.
But you are all going to have to make a survival or strength athletics roll
I'm gonna put
to
Willett
not-
on my shoulders.
to
I'm gonna
not get.
go with
It has to be strength.
I mean, Kelly and I could do that if you really.
I will put Willett on my shoulders. You're good.
Okay, all right.
Can't do an acrobatics check.
Do an acrobatics check. To
So
keep
your
balance.
acrobatics check is riding Kellyan.
Yep.
As
Alright.
You tell me where to
Kellyan
go.
tries to ford the large mountain river with a hobbit on your back.
All right.
I'd like to say that I've personally done this, just so you're all aware.
I'd like to say that first.
The hobbit's name was Alex.
The hobbit's name was. Yeah.
And I can point you to where the river was.
You
And
said with athletics, right?
And
Yeah.
just like the other party members might be doing, Laura looked on with some extreme skepticism of what I was
Right.
doing.
Uh huh.
22.
Okay.
I got a 24.
Go team
Am
athletics.
I actually rolling acrobatics or?
You roll acrobatics to see how you help or hinder Kellyan.
Oh god.
20.
Yay!
Oh, there you go.
It's like our group is competent or something. This whole traveling
No,
thing.
not God so much. What?
I mean, if I can't kill you with like overflowing streams and slippery staircases and random camps in the middle of the wilderness, how am I supposed to kill you?
Balrog. Yes.
Oh, Balrogs.
Balrog,
Oh, yeah.
maybe? Stop saying
That's
it.
it.
I know.
Just for context, I have in fact done a TPK with the Balrog before. I have historical precedence for that.
That's so great. That comforts me on such a huge level.
Well,
Yeah, because it means that you've already done it before, so why would you do it again? I mean,
but at this point, I
you don't wanna
can't
be
do
a
that
one-trick pony.
because two of you aren't there.
Mm.
So
It wouldn't be a true TPK.
that's right. It's only like a
get 3 new
60%
characters.
PK.
Only a 60% PK. Oh God! All right. Well,
And everyone knows a 60% is not an F, but still not that
Still
great
a
a grade.
D.
Well, hey, the one who knows everything is alive, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody thinks highly of themselves. Ah, freaking
Okay.
elves.
not that we're gonna run into a Balrog or anything. So let's move on. Okay. Well.
Ah,
Okay. Let's you guys get to the gates of Moria after that being your only obstacle because of some eagles. Well done. So I think we're gonna go back to Mirkwood for some role playing, and then we'll do some role playing here, and we'll see how that all goes. So someone who is concerned about the arrival at Mirkwood will roll the arrival roll for you guys, which is gonna be Nestriel. Just roll a d8. There's
Yep.
nothing really to add to it or anything, so
Actually, D8 this time?
it's actually a d8 this time.
This is good.
Uh-oh.
That's a 2. And I don't know what to add to that.
Nothing. We had nothing.
Oh. Well, I'm nervous. All right.
I'm just over there coaching you. No, it's gonna be all right. You got this.
Thanks, Dice.
I'm so excited to learn
So
what happens here.
as you traveled, the journey was good and all that, but as you got nearer and were going there, the kind of oppressiveness of Dol Guldur came out. You encountered a couple of just the small hints that the shadow from the south was coming up here north as well, as you traveled along the road, and kind of that oppressiveness that not only do you not know what's going on in Dol Guldur and the shadow is coming, and that your friends are far away now, that it's just you and the elves up here, as it's the longest you spent apart with them for some time, has started to wear on you and your spirits and the like. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh
This
boy.
is her though, right?
This is you two, yeah.
Dang it. Wait, we get advantage on this though still, don't we?
Do we have
yeah.
bandit?
From the start of the
I believe
from that
so,
initial roll.
yes.
Thank God. Okay. So the 9 becomes a 23, which is way better.
How about an 18?
Well, your
Pretty
number was
good.
16, so you made it.
Yes. Keep those shadow points away.
And that was it. That was some shadow points, and you did not get them. You avoided the falling into any despair while you.
I feel like canonically, Alred stumbled across Nestriel staring at the corruption of the Greenwood becoming Mirkwood, just staring at it, looking listless and mildly defeated, and he just kind of comes over and does his Alred thing and cheers me up, and it's good.
Let's not focus here. Let's focus there. Look at that. It's so pretty.
As a
That
side
would
note,
not help.
well,
You're good at this.
Wethril doesn't seem to be bothered by the dark forest at all, although Gliriel sure does.
Oh no.
I'm sure that Gliriel didn't pick up any shadow points.
I don't believe you.
She'll be fine. We're going to Mirkwood.
Yeah.
It's
the
such a-
happiest place
it's
on
a-
earth.
It's a
Yeah, it's
magical
such
place.
a cheerful place. It's fine.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. Well, then you arrive at Thranduil's halls. You have Legolas with you. Nestriel's been here before, but you are met at the doors. You actually met well before that by other elves that are more or less happy to greet you. They do kind of look a little bit askance at the other elves because it's pretty uncommon for even elves of Lorien to come up here. And if you're looking at someone who's into this whole isolation, Thranduil's it. So they done the thing, and you go to the doors where you are welcomed by name. At least those of you who are Nestriel and Legolas.
All two of us in
mean,
our
there's
party
only-
of NPCs.
There's only 5 total. I mean, 3 NPCs. Although the PC to NPC ratio is a little bit askew.
It's okay. We'll be losing at least one of those, hopefully, when we leave here.
Okay, yeah. You don't want Legolas still hanging out in the party?
Eh.
Well, we'll see.
I kind of like him.
What? I thought you hated him.
I mean, he grows on you.
See, I told you if you just gave him a chance.
I can never
Anyways.
let you know this.
The doors are opened, and you are immediately ushered in. Thranduil does want to speak to you right away, and he is not somewhere else like Ursa. He is here, and awaiting you with as the evening comes to a close. We'll say it's near the late end of the day as you're coming in. You are walked through the halls towards there with the guards in tow. Any last moments or things you do before you talk to Thranduil?
Pray.
Not specifically. Alred, you gonna be okay?
Yeah, we'll just be quiet and not intrude.
Fair enough. Probably best.
Are you gonna be okay?
I think I'm ready for this.
Okay. We'll be waiting.
The doors open to the audience hall. Legolas and Nestriel lead the way in, followed by the rest of the party and a group of elves. Sitting there is Thranduil in all his glory, looking very, from Alred, from your perspective, very inhuman. He does not have, I mean, there isn't any like warmth. It's kind of got that ethereal distance of an elf that has not spent time connecting to things or understanding even the world in a lot of ways. He sits there and kind of stares with the brooding eyes upon you, his gaze moving from person to person. Alred, you feel that when he looks at you, it is particularly distasteful, and there's like a frown that comes upon his face. But his gaze does move on to Gliriel, and then on to Wethril as well, which seems to cause almost the most reaction from Thranduil, as he has the almost Vulcan-esque eyebrow raise as he sees her.
Fantastic.
My son, I see that you have, as always, done well in your duty and found the wayward one. Thank you. Nestriel, what is it that you have to say for yourself?
I have brought guests to our gloried halls.
You have left without permission and brought strangers to my halls? I see them now. They are mortal, foreign, and dangerous.
Yes, Father. The world happens to be a dangerous place. And these are people that I have found to stand against that danger with me.
You stand with them? You
I
would
do.
stand next to those who spend their days, their short days, riding beasts of burden until they collapse, creating no meaningful culture or experience in the world. You would put your time with a dark elf?
She has proven to both be an amazing ally, a good friend, and an incredible source of new and varying information and experiences. And I do stand with them.
Do you know who else stands with the dark elves? Dol Guldur does.
Not with this one.
Well, this isn't the first one I have seen recently. So perhaps there is some conversation. But I will say that I am intrigued by those elves that have managed to hide themselves further away from the world than even I. For they have found a place. And if you would sit with them, then perhaps there are words worth listening to that come from the mouths of the dark elves. Perhaps we will converse further. But first, I must sit here and see what punishment I should give to you for disobeying those orders that I gave. What would be simple would be to just have the consequences of your actions be that those that you brought here put to death.
They had no part in my disobedience. If you are to punish someone, punish the one who made the act.
But what are the consequences? If there are no consequences, then you'll just do it again, will you not?
Well, I will not be staying if that is your intent with this punishment. There are still things that I need to do, and if you will not do them, then
I see that there is much to talk about. But the good news for those of us who are immortal is that there is plenty of time to have these conversations and to make decisions. Don't be hasty, right? Why should I rush? For the moment, you are welcome here, and I will provide you with a place to stay and food to eat until it is time that Nestriel and Legolas and I have figured out what is best for all of those visitors.
okay, hold on. I have to decide if I'm gonna be bold or not. Okay, we're gonna do the stupid fun thing. Yay, decision
no.
dice.
Do it, do it, do it.
So I'm gonna take a deep breath and I'm gonna look Thranduil right in the eye and say, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to stay here. Medalinor awaits me in the south.
Poof.
Medalinor?
Oh, shit.
Damn. Okay.
I mean, I don't know what echo that was, but it was pretty fantastic. Medalinor, he says. Medalinor. Is that a name that I have purposely forgotten?
Very likely. He is the human I have befriended.
Oh, God,
You have places to be that are not here? That would sound like disobedience. That would sound like the years that I have taken you under my wing are being forgotten and ignored.
Damn!
That would sound like every honor that I gave you, every roof that I put above your head, every meal that I gave you, that you would find someone else to do those things, that you had wished it was not me.
Of course not, Thranduil. You've been nothing but a father to me. However, I believe my house, the House of Elevorn, would not have stood by while these things happened in the mortal realm. We aided the men once before, though it cost us dearly, and then we aided them again, and it cost us dearly. I would aid them once more in their hour of need, to show that we are friend, not foe.
The hour of their need? Is it not our forest that is dark and brooding?
It is, however, the southern green Mirkwood is tied to these events, and I would see them through in order to save what was once my home. What still is my home, if you allow it.
I allow it for the night, and then we will see in the morning. I assume that you do not wish to rush off without at least a meal and one night of conversation.
Of course not, Father.
He stands up. He's really tall and kind of steps down from the dais that he was on to where all of you are standing. And so far, both Gliriel and Wethril, and to a large extent Legolas, have been pretty quiet and not involved. But he walks up first to Legolas and takes Legolas's hand and says, "Thank you, son, for your diligence in performing your duty, and for, as always, heeding the words that make us all safe."
Come on, Legolas said he liked Gundyr. Come on, Legolas, speak up.
I mean, to be fair, Legolas isn't like basking or looking like he's really happy in the situation, but he is also not saying anything, and his face is relatively stone-like.
What a coward!
Hey, man. This is hard for me, and he's not even my real dad.
I mean, do you guys want to know what Thranduil's stats are? No, never mind.
No.
No, I'm good.
But that's what heroes do. Things get tough and hard.
As an aside, because one of my traits as a GM is baiting players into doing things they shouldn't do. Like, I feel like I'm still sort of responsible for the box going to Moria because I put some bait in there, but I don't know. But anyway, speaking of bait, Wethril does have this sword. Like, if you were going to try and take out an ancient elfin kingdom, you might actually have the one weapon that could do it right next to you. And this bait is more for Alred as a side note, right? Because he's the sword wielder, and he's on mute, which is nice.
No, I'm not on mute.
Oh, you're just okay. Anyways, then after he talks to Legolas, he does step to Nestriel next. He takes your hand and says, "You have always brought warmth and cheer to our house," and then quickly moves us along. He next goes to Gliriel and says, I welcome our visitors from the south. It is far too long since the Lady of Lorien has come to visit, although it is also been long since we have had much to talk about. Then it goes to Allred before Wetherill. Towers over you by a good foot. Looks down and says, I do not know you, and I do not know what deeds you have done. I know you and your people, and I will assume that the elves here who I hold in high esteem have made a choice for you to be here, and I will not forfeit your life today. Welcome to my halls. Then finally stepping to Wetherill, Thranduil gazes for a moment at her. He stops and pauses and says, we must talk further, you and I. There is much I am concerned about. And then he gestures for everybody to exit the hall and says, we will gather again, and we will see what secrets tomorrow holds. And he strides out of there, stops on his way out, has a whispered conversation with his guard captain, and then he leaves. The guards that are around you kind of immediately point you in a direction, and they do seem to be in the like you with me, kind of separating you into different sleeping or quarters, as they'll call it. Nesriel, you have quarters here, so they're not guiding you in any fashion. Same with Legolas, so it just is the 3 guests that get that treatment.
It's kind of what I expected. Hey, this went better than I thought. He only threatened to kill all of you once. Twice?
Twice.
Once. You twice. Us as a whole once. So
Fair,
still,
yeah.
better than I thought. I was expecting at least 4.
Wow.
Right? Okay, I will see you guys later. I'm gonna go to my room for a minute.
Are we like under lock and key? Are we able to leave these quarters that they're giving us?
When you get into your quarters, you are under lock and key.
Cool.
That is not true of Nesriel. You do not know the answer to Gliriel and Wetherill.
There's
Just,
not like a elf in the room watching him all the time.
That is correct. It is just a room, and it does appear to be locked. There might be a guard outside.
Just being here, sharpening my sword is all.
Welcome to Mirkwood! Aren't you glad you came north with me?
I mean, we'll see here in a couple minutes when we switch to the other group.
I have no doubt in my mind that Gundyr would have ended up in a jail cell.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He might be dead, especially with that gift.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, yeah.
I mean, I think it's a consensus that Gundyr would, and probably Killian too, would probably be killed and or locked up.
Yeah.
Okay, good. The master plan worked.
Just when in doubt.
The stuff we were typing as this like conversation was going on, it was hilarious.
I would have been throwing chairs and just shouting and oh man,
Turn over the table.
This is why she didn't take us. Oh, that was smart.
Right.
Yeah.
To be fair, the not having Gundyr in the room is probably a solid strategy for this.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a solid strategy because that would have
So smart.
really pissed him off.
See, I told you I was excited for the split. This is so much easier now.
This is so much easier now.
Are you saying that he is problematic?
Not just
Both
him.
of you are? Willard
Yeah.
probably would have been fine until he asked for a plate, but I don't know how he feels about hot.
For a plate into the dungeons with the Hobbit.
Well,
Okay,
I-
well, we do have a whole nother Moria scene, so we're gonna have to. And we're not cutting there because we're gonna finish here before we cut over, so you guys can continue
Okay.
to chat amongst
Alright, I'll go
yourselves
back on mute.
for that half, and do your thing. I'm glad you're enjoying because it's enjoyable to watch Nestriel. But Nestriel, what do you do in
Yeah?
your room?
I'm gonna sit down and take a really, really deep breath, because that did go better than I expected. But I am concerned. Still concerned. And then I'll probably rifle through my old papers and have a very deep moment of reflection on how much I have grown as a person through this whole experience, how much knowledge I've gained, how much friendship I've gained, and just kind of looking at my old things that shouldn't feel as old because it hasn't been that long for me as an elf. This is a passing moment, but I've already done so much more than I ever thought I would.
As you're in the middle of that, the door opens and Thranduil is standing there.
Hello.
Come with me.
Yes, Father.
He starts taking you down in the direction that is like where the prisons are, just so you know where you're headed. During the walk, he says, "You have befriended one of those dark elves, Waithril, you called her.
Correct.
What do you know of them?"
Only what she has told me. They are far to the east. Her and her brother have been banished. Her brother is dead. They are entangled with, it appears to be the Witch King or the Necromancer, one of the two Necromancers. And the blade she carries is somehow tied to the stealing of elven souls, which we are actively working on. And they do have some connection to Dol Guldur, but I do not believe that they are allied with them.
I see. I have talked to them, and they say that there is a darkness coming, that they have seen and live next to it, within it, and that we, all of Mirkwood, will see this darkness before too long. It seems as if they are prophesying almost what is Dol Guldur, which is why I've done what I have done. And you turn a corner, right, and there's a jail cell there, and inside that jail cell is a dark elf. It's male. It's
Oh.
tall. He has traveling clothes on. You do not see any weapons at the moment. I mean, he is in jail, right? Prison is probably
As
a
you
better
do.
word. Although he looks very similar to Waithril. I mean, that's why you immediately identified as a dark elf.
This is a surprise.
This is Melos. Melos, this is my daughter, Nestriel. Oh, man.
Why?
He stands up. He's on the other side of the elven bars or whatever.
I give him a respectful bow.
Oh, Thranduil, I see that you found your daughter.
Oh. Oh.
I'm just excited at Christina's face, that's all.
I'm glad I'm on mute.
You weren't joking about having us have a conversation about what has happened. Though I do wish we'd had this conversation earlier.
It is my belief, something that we agree with, Nestriel. This is Thranduil. that
Mhm.
Dol Guldur is the enemy of the elves, an enemy of our people. Therefore, despite Malos's claim and desire to find his children, which I understood because I was searching for the same, I still felt it was most prudent to keep him occupied, given that he has come here at the bidding of the necromancer, the bidding of Dol Guldur. Malos does nod at that. Now you tell me that there are two necromancers, and that Waithrul is an ally worth having?
I believe she has proven so. She's fought beside my companion, and proven herself to be a capable ally. She appears to have made friends with a couple of them. I have no reason to distrust her. At least so far.
Malos immediately turns his gaze to you and says, "You have seen Waithrul?"
Yes, she's well. She lives. Though I'm afraid I bring you sad tidings for your son. He is no longer in the land of the living.
Well, halvesies.
Well,
There is a pause from everybody as those words settle over the group. And Malos nods. I feared.
Oh.
I will very much wish to talk about such things with you when we have the chance.
Real quickly, you wouldn't happen to be what Wethrow refers to as a shaman, would you? Someone who shepherds souls?
I have some skills there, yes. I am one of those among our people who pay attention to the souls of those when they pass. For we, as a people, when we die, however rare it is, there is no place for us to go.
That does explain a few things.
Thranduil says, "Well, Nestriel, what do you think of Dol Guldur then?"
It is a blight on our, and I would see it gone. Regardless of who calls it home currently, it is poisoning the wood, and I would see this be the greenwood great again.
Well, Malos, I see that it is still prudent for me to leave you here, but I will return soon. Come, Nestriel. I believe food is prepared.
I'll nod to Malio?
Malos.
Malo. Malos. Then follow Thranduil out.
Okay, we're gonna do. We'll do a meal here, and we'll see how that goes. Already, you get brought for food. Everybody is there.
That's
And there's a bunch of other elves as well. Malos is not there, if that's relevant to Nestriel.
It's probably relevant. Is
Uh,
Wethrow there?
Wethril is there.
Okay.
am I allowed to sit with the other elves?
You are allowed to sit with the companions that you arrived with. So good for you.
Do I sit with them or do I sit with Thranduil and Legolas?
You do not sit with them. You have like a special high table thing.
Hi from all the way over here.
It's the kids' table.
Well, one of them is. Allred, don't worry. On average, you're only about 500 years younger than everybody here, on average. Okay, that might be a little short. Anyways, you're younger.
Yeah.
You're having dinner. It is calm. It is elven. Unlike, I mean, you've eaten in Lorien, you've eaten in Rivendell. In Rivendell, there was a lot of song. In Lorien, there was kind of this constant wonder, and like the lights and the beauty. Everything was very elegant. Here, there's kind of like a stark elegance. Like everything is pretty, but in kind of like a jagged crystal kind of way.
Okay.
That everything is there, but it's all kind of a harsh beauty rather than a soft and elegant beauty.
I keep trying to catch Nestriel's eye.
I am likely purposefully avoiding you right now.
Yeah, it's just like. Huh?
So you're about 20 minutes in, right? Things are to start. Everyone is, you've got to the let's sip some wine before we eat our grape, or whatever they serve at elven meals. I forget. One
I'm gonna have a
grape,
bad time.
one leaf. I don't remember. Anyways, while that's going on, when Allred, like you're sitting there at the table, and there's another elf standing behind you that looks a lot like Wethril. You haven't seen him before. He's just standing there. And behind Wethril, but you can see it because you're right there. And you didn't actually see him walk up either. As a side note, although to be fair, there are a lot of shadows in these Thranduil's halls, right? They've got those torches and lanterns and stuff, and it's not well lit like Lorien. Anyway, so as you see him there, he puts his hand on Wethril's shoulder. She looks up at him, and you see kind of like a look of shock. It's hard to say if it's like fear or surprise, because you only get to see it for just like a moment or two, as he looks at her, and then both of them are gone.
I again look at Nestriel.
As you look at Nestriel, like the whole hall kind of erupts, as Thranduil stands up and is like, "Find them!" And there's a whole bunch of activity from the guards and the whole lot as things burst into action.
I'm gonna eat a whole lot more grapes now. Thank you. All right.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I sit contentedly.
Oh God, decision dice. Why do you keep doing this to me? I will also sit calmly.
Yeah, I might look a little smug even. Ooh, well, that's probably not healthy.
Not here, it's not.
Well, too late.
As you sit calmly, Thranduil is not particularly calm. He talks to some people, does some yelling in his voice, which is kind of scary to hear. And then after that, he walks up right to you, Nestriel.
Yep.
And says, "Can you find her?"
They move in the shadow, and I am not a particularly good hunter. I would assume that if they want to be found, they will come to us. I believe in Wethril, and should she decide that they would like to talk to us, they will find us, or me, or Allred. But I can always try. I glance up, see his absolute fury, and be like, but I can give it a shot.
It is perhaps time that we had our conversation about what you do next, then.
I agree.
and we will let us see if they remain within our halls, and then we will talk. So to make a long story short here, I guess, because we do need to do some
Yep.
shortening, they search, they do not find either of them. And then before long, Thranduil returns to you and says, "What is it that you wish to do?"
I wish to do my very best to aid this group of people to take out the Witch King. We have what we believe to be a reasonable chance in pushing him out of the north, or at least destroying his current physical form for quite some time, though I know that he will not vanish permanently by any means until we destroy the Rings of Power. We can at least lessen his hold on the north and then move on Dol Guldur, which follows his orders. I don't expect you to help me in this, but I do ask that you let me do this.
Do you view the Dark Elves as allies against the Witch King?
I view the Dark Elves as potential allies against the Witch King. The two that we have encountered were banished because of their interactions with one that claims to be the Necro. And if there are two, I believe there is a way for us to wheedle in between them and separate the root from the ground. Only then will the tree fall.
I am undecided about these Dark Elves, and that is a strange place for me, for I have decided many things for a long time. I will let you go. I will let you fight the Witch King, even though he is not foremost on my mind, as long as you do one thing for me, which is find those two and learn what it is and where they come from. We must know ourselves, for they are the closest kin we have, even closer perhaps than those of Lorien. For not only are they also the elves that have never seen the light of the two trees, but they also have managed to hide from this world for thousands of years. You like secrets. Go find theirs.
I can do that.
Ooh, doggy.
I'm gonna take a quick look around and see if anybody's actually paying attention to this conversation.
This was a private conversation. I mean, I guess, yeah, it was probably private, just you and him.
Fantastic. I'm going to hug him.
Oh.
It'll probably
Oh.
have a very similar effect to hugging Legos, where initially they're like, "Oh, this is dumb." Okay, thank you. I can get away with it. I should not. It's great.
Okay, we'll have to roll some dice for Thranduil now. Okay, you move in for a hug. He
Roll
stands.
grapple.
He wins. I guarantee you that.
He stands there like an emotionless pillar, stares at you with a disapproving look.
Makes me feel better. So I'll smile and giggle at him, and then very quickly regain my composure. Thank you, Lord Thran. I will not disappoint you.
You are correct about one thing. There are changes in a world that hasn't changed in 3 ages. Perhaps these halls will not be the same soon.
I do hope that they stay relatively the same. I am quite fond of them.
He turns and leaves.
Oh god. I have to tell Gundy. Oh. Soon. Alright, I'm gonna go look for some Dark Elf.
Okay, you and Allred and Gliriel, I assume, will gather.
Yes.
And I also, given that you split the party, you're probably leaving right away.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think I have a reason to stay.
Okay, well, that's where we're going to leave the three of you then. You've gone to Thranduil's. You've had a conversation. You're headed back south, ostensibly sort of Lorien, but you don't actually have to make that decision right now. All that's really happened is that you've lost a dark elf and a couple of elf-slaying swords.
Yep. Well, hey, I got my father's blessing to leave Mirkwood, which is more than I was hoping for.
Yeah, that's great. Now we don't have to sneak out.
Which, I mean, was a pretty large possibility.
Yeah.
There was definitely that chance.
And he's not gonna kill you, alright. This is great.
Yet.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
I mean, if you leave like today, he's already still under his word, you know.
Yep.
It's true.
Okay. Well, that was uneventful, so we'll move on. Wait, okay. I got to go from my elven king of ages voice to my dwarven thing, so
Two
bit of a dichotomy.
completely different things.
Right. One is more like sneaky in the words, and the other one is more like in your face.
One is more fun, you mean?
I mean, for me or in general?
Right.
I mean, don't those go hand in hand?
Okay, so
in this situation, at least.
the three of you are approaching. You do need to make an arrival roll.
Cool.
Somebody rolls a
+2 to
d8,
the arrival.
and you get a +2. So you cannot have the thing that happened to them when they rolled, really badly.
Okay.
All right. All right. Well, I rolled a 7. So +2 is 9.
Inspired and filled with hope. You guys have been here before. You may remove 2 points of shadow and gain inspiration.
Yes!
Kellyanne really needed that.
I did! Back down to 0, guys.
Told you tromping through the muck would be worth it.
Then gain what? What was the other one?
Inspiration. So you all get inspiration. Yep.
Darn! I'm just racking it up, man.
I mean, Willett and Gundir get inspiration too, if that's relevant.
Yeah. I mean, Willett's going to need this inspiration because he's still a little wobbly from the eagle trip.
What do you mean little?
Vaguely wobbly?
All right. All right.
Okay.
Note to self,
That's true. I
stay
am
away
still
from
not
small stat.
Recovered from the
Right.
trip.
No.
I remember I'm at disadvantage.
As you approach the doors to Khazad-dûm, you have traveled through a bunch of Northmen. Ursa has a whole bunch of Northmen out here, kind of trying to protect the trade routes. They've been disappearing and stuff, and so they've been doing a lot of work here. So you did encounter them quite a bit on your trip through here. Not a big deal. You have a Northman with you, just so you know, they're up right next to the door. But you've been to the door of Moria of Khazad-dûm before, so you travel up to Dimril Dale along the path, and there are dwarves out there to greet you. I am curious how you greet them.
Uh, I mean, I've got something that's kind of funny if nobody wants to stop me.
Based off of their previous interaction that we've had before, I'm just going like with how they greet, like when they greet people of importance. So I'm trying to do that on them.
Mm.
Okay.
Nice work.
But it's standard
So-
greeting from Kellyan.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the core thing here is, do you lead with "We've got an axe," or not?
I say greetings. We come here to talk to what's the big honcho's name? What's his name? Durin. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Durin.
We come to seek an audience with Durin. We have something of his that he would probably want back.
It's his axe.
Found an X.
You know, there could be some people who want that axe themselves.
I
Quiet.
understand that, but we're not gonna just hand it to someone else.
Do you like
No.
pull it out so that they can like visually see it?
Right.
Oh god.
Look at it. It's beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
Their eyes get like wide, and they're like, "Oh, absolutely, come this way, and we'll take that."
No.
No, sorry. I gotta deliver this to Durin himself.
No. Every moment that the axe is in the hands of a non-dwarf, we've got to do it.
I'm gonna roll persuasion and say, you know, we've come this far away, and the least we can do is be greeted by Durin himself, and that's a nat 20, man.
Ooh, nice.
Which makes it a 27.
Flew with the Eagles to get here. We know about expediency.
And insight. Actually, can I do insight too? While I'm doing that, and see why they have been so. Why
Yeah,
they're
go
kind
right
of
ahead.
Trying to touch it or whatever. That my insight is not exactly the best, so that is an 11.
Okay, that doesn't
Oh,
tell you
13.
anything. Although, I mean, dwarves, it doesn't seem too far out of line for dwarves not to want non-dwarves to hold the dwarven artifact. They are
Right.
dwarves.
Yeah.
So, but no additional information.
Well, I mean,
But
None
with
of
the
my dark
nat-
senses are tingling.
None of your dark senses are tingling.
Okay.
The with the natural 20, you make an argument about how that the first hands that need to touch these are Durns themselves or something like that, and they get a relatively large group of dwarves and start leading you into Moria to meet Durin.
Hopefully, it's not.
yeah,
a trap.
no, that's
Where's
exactly
Gandalf the
what.
White when you need him?
Right.
Your
keep
hands would remember their strength. They held your own axe, my king.
Mm-hmm.
keep your wits about you guys.
I mean, also, these guys lost the axe before.
It was stolen. It was
Sounds
probably by
like
that
a
body
dwarf
that.
stole some. Yeah, I'm sensing a conspiracy.
Yes, me too.
Conspiracy. You guys are crazy.
That's what my 13 insight gave me. Conspiracy.
So you
And
travel
I'm willing
in
to
through the opening gate. You cross the bridge of Khazad-dûm into the entrance halls. You have done this before, so it's not unique. But you travel up to Durin's chamber, where he is. When you get there, unlike the last time you were here, where it was full of dwarves, right now it is empty, except for Durin on the throne.
How is he? Like, I'm gonna do another insight check to see how he's doing. Does he seem a lot different than the last time we saw him?
So you're being hustled that direction. He is sitting there. He does stand to greet you. You tell me what your role was, Kellyan.
It was a 17.
Okay. the main thing, because I'm not even asking what you're rolling, because what you're actually rolling is Shadow Sense, and you
Oh,
absolutely get a tingle from Durin himself as he strides forward.
Oh shit!
fuck, guys, something doesn't feel right. He doesn't feel right.
Like
What are you talking about,
how? Like
Killian?
how
Like-
doesn't he feel right?
Like shadows, like evil, like potentially bad stuff.
I am. Durin starts speaking.
Shit.
I am in your debt, for there is no greater reward that I could give for the return of such things as the axe itself. Um,
I don't suppose you
Please.
know how to clear that up.
Clear off like shadow stuff.
you must
Darn.
only name your
Oh.
reward, and it will be yours.
This
As
is one area where
he-
maybe it would have been smart to bring Mestriel.
he walks
Great.
forward and holds his hand out to the axe. Gundyr, my friend, thank you.
I'm gonna
What?
wait for Nestril to do something before I just straight up hand him X.
Okay, so
Uh,
2 months
Kelly?
later. Oh no, wait.
No,
You mean Kellyan?
Okay, so with strength of will, it says when undead is forcing wisdom check against corruption or fear. Can I use that at all for anything against him? Like, no,
I don't think so. It's all just telling
that's
you
not how
about
it
him.
works.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Um,
fuck me.
Well,
my lord, my king. May I say that these are trying times for the lands. How are you faring? I obviously say, trying to change the conversation.
It has been a trial to not have the axe by my side, but luckily those times are coming to an end.
How did the axe get stolen? I mean, how did you lose it? Is what I meant to say.
I think I like whisper over to Gundyr and it's like, I think you need to figure out what the fuck is going on.
It is
can't exactly just stand here
unusual.
with his axe and just be like nonchalant about that.
And I'm sure the work of the enemy that one of my personal guard would run off with it while I slept.
It
Would be a
wasn't one of your
personal
personal guard. The guy who stole it looked to be a nobleman.
I don't know if Gundyr's trying something, but my memory is that it was one of his personal guard that you found up there.
Oh,
Is that go with your memory?
I thought you said he was a noble.
It does.
Well, I mean, they're all
personal guard.
and noble are they cross. They're part of the same Venn diagram.
Okay, yeah, that's fair because he was wearing fancy shit, and
Yes.
whether you're a nobleman or a royal guard, you're going to be wearing fancy stuff. Okay, all right, yeah.
Okay, I have an idea.
Go for it because I've got nothing.
I'm not sure if this is gonna work. You ask about what we want, and Gundyr has admired the craftsmanship of this axe, and
Oh, I like where you're going with this.
he cannot bear to part it without giving it one final hurrah, as per his Northman traditions, where it calls upon a feast with lots of honey, and perhaps holding it on in your presence just a bit longer to say a proper goodbye to such amazing workmanship.
Kellyan, I had no idea you had so much interest in men. I give
Yeah.
you a hug.
We are
I'm
happy
so touched right now.
to hold
Yeah.
a feast, but the axe must be returned. It is not a thing of the Northmen.
Oh, definitely it is not. However, since he has appreciated and held this for so long, a couple of hours should not derail you eventually from finally getting what rightfully is yours. I only ask for a couple more hours so that he can properly say goodbye as per their warrior way of the North. As
Ooh,
per
An axe-handing ceremony? Oh, if we
Yep.
do an axe-handing ceremony, that'll only relationships between us. Like, oh, it'll be great. It's
I do not
very
think
deep and spiritual.
we will wait.
I don't
If-
I don't know if there's a way around this one, guys.
So, and a side note,
Uh,
there's now the personal guard that you talked about is not actually in the room. So the only people in the room are the dwarves that came in with you, who mostly came from the front of the, from the gates and the like along the way.
We do have
some of
other
those
matters
dwarves
to
seem a
discuss.
little nervous, like about the whole thing, and they're kind of staring at Gundyr, and a couple of them have like their hands on their axes and the like. So, anyways, Kellyan.
We do have a couple more things to discuss, and I think it would be better without an audience. We will hand over the sword right now. If we can.
Axe.
I feel like it's a traditional faux pas, the calling an axe a sword.
Gasp.
Axe.
Anyways,
But
continue.
this necessitates the utter discretion of you, my lord, and nobody else's wandering heirs. And what should be said should be between my two companions and you. We will do a small axe handing ceremony, and hand it off to you once that's completed, which takes less than a few moments.
I see.
It's good for morale.
It is,
Yeah.
and it'll make him feel better. I
If-
look over at Gundyr.
If you wish,
I mean, it'll make me feel better.
he turns to the guard and says, "You are dismissed." And then he turns to the three of you and says, "Come this way. We will retire to private chambers for this conversation."
Thank you.
Good. We gotta talk about that box and stuff.
Shh, just be
No, right, sorry.
not
So
until we're alone.
he leads you down a.
In the meantime, I give a meaningful nudge to Willin. It's like, maybe you should figure things out.
what?
Gather information, maybe?
Oh, you want me
Maybe
to?
should
Oh, right.
figure things out.
Oh, yeah. I go. Excuse me.
Oh,
Where is the loo? I'm gonna go relieve myself. Do my business. That's what I do. Then I leave.
So
hobbits
you
have
basically
too many
leave with the
powers.
dwarves, essentially.
Yeah.
Actually,
Small
Willard,
Play with them.
can you make a stealth roll for me?
Sure. Love making
Do
stealth
it.
rolls at disadvantage.
Ah, fuck.
He's exhausted from his eagle ride.
That's still a 23, though.
Wow.
Okay.
That's still really good for being tired.
So, Kellyan, you get the impression that Durin wanted you all to come with him.
Okay.
However, Willard has disappeared, and you're actually at the point where you're not 100% sure Durin remembered Willard was there.
What?
Because I have that ability.
Wow.
Shit,
Oh
man.
my god, the curse is spreading.
Oh no. Too soon. Too soon.
What are you doing to us?
Oh god. I don't know. I'm trying to be good. Okay.
So, on the other hand, so Willard, you go off to to the loo with some dwarves, while Gundyr and Kellyan, you are led down a doorway that goes down some stairs.
I look at Gundyr
towards-
and I murmur just so that he can only hear. It's like, we need to buy some time.
Towards what looks to be Durin's private chambers or some private library or something. You're headed that direction.
I make conversation.
Durin seems pretty
as-
grumpy.
That's okay. I can talk to myself. I'm fine. how has the box been received? If you don't mind my asking.
I have it down here. You can inspect it.
Thank you.
God. Oh, here we go. Just gonna walk down the stairs.
Prepare yourself.
Oh, shit.
So it arrived well. I'm glad, and we're most gracious for your hospitality.
So we get to the room. He
Mhm.
leads you in. It's a very large room. It's got like scrolls and books. So not very dwarf-like in your mind, right? Like it looks like a hall of records or something like that.
Okay.
There's a lot of that stuff around. In the middle of the room, on like one of those standard dwarven pedestals, is in fact the box. It is clearly open.
What?
Oh, no.
As the dwarven door shuts behind you, you notice that also standing in the room is a ice-clad Nazgul.
Fuck me!
Kellyanne, it's been
I-
an honor.
Dear. Yeah, well, let's do it.
You guys have the axe.
Yep.
Shit.
Oh boy.
Durin!
We
I-
What have
left
you
you
done?
alone for one day.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
What have you done?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You-
Good luck, guys.
Explain yourself. No,
was in a rush.
before we do this, explain yourself.
Yeah, monologue. Monologue. For God's
Explain myself.
Why?
If you were too weak to bind such things to your will, then so be it for you. But I am a dwarf. I am the dwarf. I am the father of dwarves, and this darkness, this wraith will bend to my will.
Oh boy. No. You see, what happened, in fact, was the wraith bent you to his will.
I think not. Gundyr, it is now time for you to hand over the axe. Don't make us come take it.
Oh, bullshit. No. The way I see it, you don't even deserve this at this time. The rightful person will never, ever put their people in danger. Your folly speaks volumes about how little you think of your own dwarven kingdom. The fear for which we have seen in your people. You care nothing but for yourself. No king who can hold this axe would ever do such a thing. You are no longer worthy of it.
We are
I'm
the
gonna try
dwarves, and we
open
are
the
better
door.
than any of you. We will rule.
Not with you.
Just gonna try and
So-
open that door.
This may come as a shock, Gundyr, but the door seems to be locked.
Oh, that's great.
There's like some dwarven rune thing on it or something. Yeah, it's great. Now, to be fair, there are two other doors out in this room. There's the one you came in. There's one directly across, and there's a big, huge set of double doors at the far end of the hall. The
All right.
Nazgul is standing in front of the double doors-ish area.
All right. I got an idea. Gundyr, you're gonna get out of here.
Okay.
You're gonna get out of here.
He's just like, yeah, I'm okay with this.
I'm okay
Alright,
with
yeah.
No.
Nope.
Ellie, you would
Yep.
both-
I'm okay with this. So I'm gonna go into the middle of it, and I'm gonna look at the Nazgul, and then I keep my eyes on like between Nazgul and the dwarf, and I am going to intimidate the fuck out of them, or like perform, I guess, to keep their eyes on me, so that Gundyr can get the shit out of here.
So you think the problem with that tactic is that Gundyr has the axe, right?
All right, I'm gonna take the axe from him.
The axe is going to draw their attention. So taking the axe would be a wonderful way to get them to pay attention to you.
So I'm taking the axe, and I whisper to you in your ear, and I was like, I'll see you later, okay? Get out of here. And then I take the axe,
Oh God.
And I step in the center and I give him a look. I was like, "You have Nestril. You have people. I got this." And so I step in the center.
The
And I look at-
Nazgul is walking your direction.
All right, and I like circle. Like I circle around so that I can
Oh,
keep his
shit.
back to Gundyr at all times and make him make the Nazgul and Durin look at me while he gets out of here. And I look at him at the Nazgul and I was like, "Hi, I pushed you into one box one time. I don't see how I can't do it again."
Shit.
So you can make your roll, but I'm gonna cut to Willid real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Willid, you're amongst some dwarves. What are
Mhm.
you what are you doing?
I'm gonna break away from this group and go see. I mean, it's a city, right? It's a dwarven city.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna
it's
go.
huge. There's tons of stuff.
There's got a guy. I gotta find some dwarves. I mean, I assume we're in like Durin's private, or like this is the count. Like, I don't know what
I mean,
it's
like the
called.
rich quarter.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I'm looking for is where are the like royal guard? You pointed out that that group specifically wasn't.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can totally find the royal guard. They're not very far away. Yeah,
Yeah.
you like we're walking around. You see one of them. You know what they look like. And you head that direction.
And
And
I
there's like a
run up.
bunch of them over there. They're kind of having meals, or like we'll just assume they're like doing dwarf drinking things.
I run up. Uh, and I'm gonna jump up on their table. I'm gonna jump on their table.
Okay, so
And get
first thing, make a perception check. Um, except for use intelligence instead of wisdom. I don't know if that's better or worse for you. Your intelligence is probably pretty good.
perception using intelligence.
Yeah. Do you have any memory skills? Like, does Scholar give you any memory things?
Scholar. What I have from Scholar is hands of a healer, news from afar, and tongues of many peoples.
Okay. Yeah. So no. Okay. Yeah. Just intelligence plus perception proficiency.
And that's gonna be with disadvantage. 18.
Okay.
18.
That's still pretty good. There's one of the things, like, you hung out and drunk with these guys a while back, and you recognize them very much by like their garb and all of that stuff. Says you see them, but you actually can't find any of them that you hung out with last time. You don't see any of them. You're just up on the table right now, but you probably like glanced around for like, oh hi, Cole or whatever, but you can't find any that you recognize.
Do I remember any of their names in particular? Because
yes, you remember some of their names.
So that's, and I liked those guys. Do I have any reason to suspect that?
I think you liked them. I mean, in general, you guys liked most of the dwarves that you ran
But
into.
it's bigger, maybe a bigger thing that they liked me.
I mean, they liked
So I'm
Gundyr more, but I think you did
I'm
good.
gonna ask hey, have you seen I'm looking for my friend's dwarven guard, royal guard number 6. Have you seen him?
Well, he hasn't been around for a while, not since Durin beefed up the guard. He had some special tasks for them. They've been gone for a bit, couple months.
Couple months. Wait, why? All right. Listen, one of my friends can detect whether or not the shadow is affecting somebody. She's like this weird shadow detector. I've experienced it too before. It's really creepy. We were delivering Durin's axe. We found it. One of you guys, one of your old friends, stole it apparently, which I don't know why they would do that. Maybe they were the bad guys, but maybe they also knew that something was wrong, because when we went to go talk to Durin and give him the axe, my friend started freaking out. Something was wrong with Durin, and we think he's tainted by the yeah, and he's got a bunch of, all the guards changed. That's not good. What do you think about that?
There's definitely an immediate, like, they don't immediately like say no, right? They think for a second, and there's a little bit of murmuring. There's one guy in the back goes, "Oh, it's some crazy hobbit," and the other guy's like, "Well, yeah, but And there's some stuff. Give me a persuasion. Feel free to not be at disadvantage for this one.
A free inspiration. I'll take it.
I mean, yeah, I'm basically giving you advantage on this.
I'm gonna. Can I use an inspiration?
If you want,
Reroll that.
we'll do it. If you want, get it up there.
Get it up there.
Sorry, I'm rolling persuasion.
Yes.
Uh, 14.
Add a d6.
So
Can I-
you can't. You're not there,
I
Kellyanne.
don't think I can do that.
Shit!
You're definitely not in a situation where you can affect Willard's
No!
rolls. So Willard, there's a lot of grumbling. 14's kind of in the middle. They're like thinking maybe, yeah. There've been some. So you get kind of into this conversation about how things have been a little bit weird, and there's definitely been a lot of these like secret mission stuff, and there's even some rumor that there's even some rumor that maybe we could start cultivating, like capturing all the orcs or something like that from around here, and instead of killing them. And I don't remember what the whole goal behind that was. Something like that.
There's wait. Is there there's a new mission to cultivate orcs?
Yeah, something about getting the orcs to fight each other. I don't remember. You remember the details? No, I remember that we're okay with going around and killing orcs, but that we've done a lot less of killing orcs lately.
You guys are using orcs?
Oh, of course not. We wouldn't do a thing like that.
You
I don't
just said
think.
that. Listen, okay, I told them I was going to the bathroom, so I got to get back. I don't know what's going to happen. They might try to kill. They might try to kill your king. That's all I'm saying. Bye. And I run off.
Okay, so
It's me.
I was gonna have a couple of them come with you, but with that line, yeah, they totally chase you.
Okay, hopefully they're not bad guys.
Fuck, man.
Bring in the cavalry.
I
That's
just
right,
made
like
the
you're-
decision to lob off his head.
Yep. Well.
We'll get there. We are gonna
But I
cut
do
back
think
now
that
to Kellyanne.
I don't know what I'm expecting. I honestly am expecting to come back to these two trying to kill Durin.
Nope, nope.
Hopefully Durin will be dead.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. So Kellyanne, how'd you do on your performance roll to gain their attention?
I got a 28. I spent an inspiration to do it.
Okay.
Wow.
Gundyr, what are you doing then in response to that? There's basically one door that looks like doesn't have anybody by it. Are you headed that direction, or do you have some other
Yeah,
subtle
I'm
plan?
heading towards that door.
You do get over there. It does not look like they're paying attention to you because the Nazgul and Durin are basically
Focused
one on
the
each side
act
are
right
coming
now.
up on Kellyanne.
Then I'm
And-
gonna. My main goal is to be one-on-one. Because that is most advantageous. So I wanna
Yeah, I would charge one.
well, when he's close enough, I'm gonna swing the axe and try to behead Durin.
Okay. He's pretty much close enough right away, so you get your shot.
Oh,
Because he was
damn!
pretty much standing next to you. Is the
The
Nazgul the
dice
entire-
gods are with me today. 20. I rolled a 20.
You critical then?
I did. Oh my goodness. I give up.
Oh.
Maybe I should have. Can I change that to the Nazgul
bringing the Royal
instead?
Guard was maybe a bad idea.
Yeah. Can I
Ain't
change that to
happening.
the Nazgul instead? Trying to behead him? Maybe.
No.
No. Shit.
Nope. I guess I just get to decide whether you actually behead him or not.
Yep. I
I
mean,
mean,
even if he dies, there's still a freaking ice Nazgul standing in the room.
2-on-1 is not fun.
so out of curiosity, if you add your attack bonus to 20, what do you get?
With my attack, I
Yeah.
don't know what to add.
I mean, you're proficient.
Axe.
Proficiency plus strength.
strength.
All
Yeah.
right.
Isn't it +3 axe?
It
It
is a plus
is-
3x, yes.
It is a +3 axe, so you
So
had
then
that
with
as
the
well.
+3, I'm at a 9.
So
Okay.
29 to hit.
So do you know what Durin's armor class is?
Is it like 24?
29.
Pro-
29.
So you
she
hit it. So she hit his armor class.
Holy fuck!
So the
man!
only way you can hit him is to roll a 20, as it turns out. How about that?
God!
But you did.
God!
So why don't you roll some damage?
I don't know what to roll.
The axe does a d10.
A
Yep.
D10.
You get to roll it twice because you criticaled.
Mm. Yeah,
And
D10
then you
plus
get to
strength.
add what works out to 5
Plus
points
3.
of damage.
9. Ooh, 19. Plus what?
Plus 5, I guess. 3 plus your strength. Plus
24.
proficiency, right? Yeah. So,
Mhm.
Right.
or no, not proficiency, not to damage.
Strength.
Has it been that long since we did an attack roll in this game?
Yeah, it's been a
It's
while.
been a while since we've done attack rolls.
Yeah, it really is the first one. Okay.
Yep, 24.
So you did 24 points of damage to Durin. You aimed for the neck, so you have embedded the axe in his neck. He obviously has like mithril chain and the whole lot, but it's Durin's axe, right? So it's gone in there. Blood is spurting.
All right. So he's no longer a problem.
I'm
Got
not
it.
sure if you would call it a fatal wound, but it's bad.
Okay.
The head did not come off the shoulders. Dwarves are tough. And that's what that looks like. Gunder, I'm going to give you one action before we roll initiative.
All right, I'll roll initiative.
I mean,
Luckily-
before we roll
No,
initiative, what do you want to do?
action.
Oh,
Get
what
out.
do I want? Open the door to the side door.
Okay, it is locked. Do you try and? I mean, it's dwarven locked, so it's pretty solid. You're pretty strong.
You know what? I'll try and break the door down. You know what? And I'll frenzy too, because this seems like a time to frenzy. And I'll just use strength save or athletics. I mean, they're the same, but
Okay, I'm gonna roll some initiative.
all right. That's gonna be a 26.
I never do good on initiative.
To try and break that lock, and then for initiative. Ooh, yeah. Initiative's gonna be a 22.
Okay, how'd you do on your door smashing?
Door smashing. I rolled a 26 for strength.
Okay, you hit it. You hit it way good, over 25. So you crack it. You think that if you hit it 2 more times, it will break with that force.
Oh, shit.
Darn dwarven doors.
We need an escape route.
So yeah, I definitely need a freaking escape route. So this is what I'm doing, and I hope Kellyan lasts the 2 turns.
I do too, buddy.
Don't you get advantage when you're trying to break shit? When you're...
I do, and that was my with
Oh,
advantage.
sorry. Sorry, I missed it.
Kellyan, what was your initiative?
13.
Okay, so you did
Lucky
not beat the Nazgul.
Mm-mm.
I don't have its stats up right away. Give me one sec. There we go.
I just need to dodge and keep his attention on me. That's fine. I can do it.
Hormarath of Dur.
I hope.
Okay, so yeah, he is at this point in the I'm going to kill you. And he actually, like, you hear him whisper, I'm looking forward to this. I
Yeah, fuck you,
remember.
buddy.
And he has, you like get the grasp of it, and his like sword, his pale sword, cold sword is out. He's like, I remember you.
Of course you do.
Great. I like it when people remember me. Except for you. Great. Okay.
Okay, what's your armor class?
17.
You get hit
This is gonna hurt.
twice.
It's gonna hurt.
All right.
You take a lot of damage. Ow.
Okay.
Wow, yeah, he's bad.
It's-
So that's 60 total.
Okay, I'm good. All right. All right. All right. I can last one more swing.
I can last one more swing.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep his sword down, and I am going to try to talk to him.
Oh no, wait, sorry. That damage included while he was using the Sword of Doom, which he's not using anymore. Sorry. So
I was
that's
gonna-
only 50 points of
He
damage.
does just as much
Only-
damage as he did before, even without the awesome sword. Oh my god, you
Right.
guys are screwed.
He does.
I'm actually gonna
does
be nice. I'm gonna say it's
marginally
only
a
40
little
points
bit
of
less
damage.
without the Sword of Doom.
Only 40. We'll go with that.
Only 40.
Only 40
Alright.
damage. All right. Okay. Okay. Okay.
It's now your action.
I know that I cannot blast another. Like, even like if I attack him, like there's not gonna be enough time. Is there a way? Is he like? Where is he in vicinity of this box? Where's the box?
I mean, the box is still in the middle of the room, so it's probably about 20, 30 feet away. And he is vaguely between you and it, but he's kind of off to the side because he came from the double doors. I mean, you could still try and grab him and drag him there. I mean, if that's a plan. I mean, you'd still need someone to put the lid on, depending on where Gundyr is at the time.
All right. New game plan. That's what I'm gonna do then.
Okay.
Although I don't know. Fuck. No,
mean,
I'm gonna.
Your memory
What?
is that when Gundyr and them grabbed the Nazgul, that it was painful
It was painful.
and
Yeah.
horrible.
Right, and I don't have the stamina like they do, so I'm gonna talk to him instead. Because I can hold out for a couple more times until Gundyr can leave.
Get him to monologue.
Yep,
Get
and
him
that's
to
what I'm gonna do.
monologue about how his grand master plan while I kick down this
Get him,
door.
get him to monologue about how he's got Durin under mind control.
So what is your plan with this, anyways? Why do you want the axe? More importantly, why did you want to take over this mountain so bad? Because it doesn't seem like it's a place where somebody who is so close to the Witch King or somebody so high up deserves to be in such a filth. And I'm gonna roll. Okay, that's not bad, I think. I think so. Is it like persuasion to get him into this conversation? Or
Sure.
deception, maybe?
Provoke.
It's probably more persuasion because you're actually trying to get him to give you answers rather than lying to him. I mean, you haven't
Okay.
actually been doing much lying.
No. I'm gonna do an inspiration to reroll, which is better. Okay.
Spend it now because
I
you
know, 'cause I'm
may
gonna-
never get another chance.
I know, I may not. Okay, so 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
24?
So he-
Sure, Nazgul will stop. He's holding that ice sword basically at your throat and says, I want the axe because Durin wants the axe. He has the ring.
Where's his body next to me?
Durin has stumbled backwards. He does not appear to be dead. He has one hand on the axe, holding it in place now, as he looks towards the spurting of the blood.
I'm gonna grab the ring.
From where?
He's wearing the ring, right?
He has gauntlets on. There could be rings under them.
All right, I'm gonna take the axe out and just chop off his hands.
So the axe is no longer within reach. Durin has stumbled backwards, so you have a sword at your throat. Are you going to run backwards? It seems like the Nazgul might be interested in some more conversation.
He has the ring. Conversation. Can I keep him occupied while I go back, like slowly go back, close enough to Durin as he's like gasping for life?
The
Like, kinda
Nazgul
like-
does not seem to be in any hurry to kill you. It seems to be very interested in like savoring the moment, and doesn't feel like there's any real risk or anything, right? So, Gundyr,
Perfect.
you're probably making a second hit at the door. You should do that.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'll go ahead and make my second hit at the door. Ooh, critical success.
Oh well, that'll do the door in. That'll count as
That's-
2, and you
That's
break
what I
through.
was hoping
You
for.
break through that door.
God, these solid dwarven doors, like they're no joke.
As that door opens, you break it, right? A blast of cold air comes in from it. And in fact, in general, like you notice that like a lot of the room is now starting to cover itself in frost.
Mm,
Just
mm.
in case that's relevant.
Okay.
The Hormarath has his sword at your throat, Kellyan.
And I'm gonna slowly like just back off. I'm gonna have my hands up, and he stumbled back. Right? Is there any way that I can like keep his attention while trying to bluff my way to back to the axe to grab? So I didn't feel like I let go of it, but apparently I did.
I mean, Durin is strong.
Mm.
Okay. Well, he doesn't need this axe, and he should not have this axe. So, is there a way I like could grab it and just like rip it out?
It's called Durin's axe.
I mean,
Fucking
it is his axe, so whether he's
Okay.
evil or not, it still
Maybe
is.
wielding it will help him. I don't know. Maybe it'll snap him out of it.
okay.
So you stumble back towards him, right? You
There
get
is
there. The Nazgul, as I said, doesn't seem to be in a huge hurry to kill you. He's kind of walking forward with the grimness to it.
The
You
door's open.
you feel
The door's
Durin
open, Kellyan.
back
Right, I know.
behind you, and you're looking towards the Nazgul, so you can see the big double doors, and you see that they're like starting to creak open. As that happens, one of Durin's arms grabs you from behind, the one that's not holding the axe.
Okay.
So side note, like the axe shaft is still right there, if you want to grab it, and you hear Durin's rasping voice in you as like he says, "No, maybe you should meet the real master." And as your
The
shadow senses just totally, I mean, they're already in bad shape, right? You're right next to it.
Shadow
Nazgul.
senses tingling.
Yeah.
And the big doors blow open. So Willett, you're running with some dwarves.
Yeah.
They've taken a little bit of
They're just
time.
having a conversation, and these
They're like,
guys
"Where
are
is he?
just
Where
having
is he?"
fun.
Right? And they're running around, but like, oh, and then they're like, "Oh, that it'd be this way." So they go down some stairs, right? And they get to a door, and they like start pounding on it to like let him in. And one is like, "Who's got the? Oh yeah, I've got the key." And one of them is like fumbling with a rune stone or things like that. So Kellyan.
Yeah.
And Gundyr, because Gundyr's at the door staring at Kellyan.
Right.
The doors fly open, and on the other side of it is this huge blue shadow. Ice is flowing all around it. It has big, massive horns, and carrying a sword and a whip of ice.
Oh my god!
Ice Balrog. Oh God.
Fuck me!
Then, out of like nowhere, the door right next to you flies open, and a bunch of royal dwarves come charging into the room.
Oh,
I take-
shit.
I'm
Well,
gonna
at least their primary target has been pointed out to them.
I'm gonna rip the axe out of his neck. I am
What's-
just going to rip it out. I hope it works. I really hope it works.
Okay, so
What's
Kellyanne,
going
you're
on?
going for the axe. Gundyr, what are you doing?
Run!
Oh, I
I yell,
am
"Run!"
running so fast.
Out the door
Uh,
you just broke,
No.
or do you want to come back this way?
I'm coming back the other way.
Okay. Willid, you step into the room.
Yeah,
You
okay,
can
what-
see to your left, Durin has grabbed Kellyanne from behind. Durin's axe is in his neck. There's blood, dwarven blood all over the place. They're facing the Ice King Nazgul with his sword out at Kellyanne's throat. And then there's this ice Balrog that just came in the room.
I look over at Willard and I'm like, "Run!"
Can I take a cunning action?
If you say so. No, wait. I mean, your character sheet says so. So, yeah.
I'm gonna hide as a bonus action.
Are you gonna steal the axe?
22 to hide. And then I'm gonna try to steal the axe.
Okay. So, Willid, roll initiative for me. That's right. And oh well, okay, yeah, there we are. And then
All right, I'm just
we're
gonna
gonna
distract
start at the
shit out of
top of the
everybody.
round, which is Gundyr goes first, initiative wise. So
Yeah.
you make your sprint.
Mm-hmm.
You come running through. You're very fast, so if you sprint
Yep.
all the way, like leap over the box and start tumbling into a bunch of dwarves, essentially that are coming out of that.
I tell the dwarves to run. Run!
Okay.
This foe is beyond you. Run!
The Nazgul sees the door open and the dwarves come in, and
I want to keep his attention on me.
yeah, he feels that now it's probably the time to finish you off.
Okay.
So, guess I'm gonna work on that.
Roll some rolls, I guess.
Ah!
Oh, Kellyanne, no.
I know. I love this character.
Okay, so you get stabbed to where you're gonna be below. I mean, you don't have 60 hit points left, right?
I do exactly 60.
So you're at 0.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh my goodness. Ah.
So you are now at 0. You technically are incapable of action, but you're still conscious.
Right.
The as you get stabbed and basically fall down to one knee, as it then, I mean, at that point you're actually in pretty good shape because you're not technically a threat. So the then Willid, what was your initiative, Willid? Sorry.
Sorry. That's gonna be an 8.
Okay. You do go before Durin, so you're going to. He has a hand on the axe, and you're going to try and sneak it out of him.
Is he? Yeah. Is he wielding his axe? There's a technicality here.
I mean, given that there's a Nazgul and a Balrog and a dwarf with a 29 armor class in the room, whatever's to your best advantage.
Right.
If you want him to be wielding it, he is.
I do not want him to be wielding it.
He is not wielding it.
Okay, then instead of a sneak attack, I can do. Let's see. Instead of dealing damage, instead perform a dexterity sleight of hand check on your opponent. In addition to normal uses sleight of hand, this feature enables you to take any weapon on your opponent's person that they are not currently wielding.
Okay. So here's how this works. Kellyan was grabbing that axe, right, to get it, and but Kellyan then got stabbed and started slumped down, right? So it kind of pulled the axe down that direction, and it kind of removed it from the neck, in that sense. And Durin's hand was all slippery in blood, so the axe, perhaps aided by a stealthy hobbit from behind, slips down to the ground in the confusion. And everyone kind of hears it clatter, but actually Willard has like stuffed it somewhere and has it. Yeah.
So run, Willard.
Everyone
Run!
thinks it just fell to the ground.
Wait, did I tattoo myself?
Yes, you did. My memory
It's
is
still there.
It's still there.
I better stay there. I run.
All right.
Gundyr. Okay, so
Uh,
basically, let's be fair. There's only one thing really left for the scene that we care about. Before we get into the dwarves, Balrog, people chasing you, generals yelling and screaming for all this stuff kind of thing that's about to
Well-
happen. Gundyr, do you try and grab Kellyan as you go by?
ooh, oh man, why are you putting all this on me?
Well, I mean, it's possible Kellyan might stand up again from all of those sword wounds, but like Kellyan is like a bleeding mess, and is you can see her eyes are still open and she's still conscious, but in like general terms, it'd be like she's dying.
I'm fast enough. I can grab her.
All right, so before that happens, I need to say this because I think this is just gonna be so awesome. So I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna draw, draw gurgled breath and look and like stare down the Nazgul, and then like look around at the Balrog and all this chaos that's happening. And I look at him. You might kill me today, but those who are just and right in this world will see to your end and your masters as well. Fuck you.
And then Gundyr grabs you.
Yoink.
Yoink! Running away.
And the Nazgul snarls at you, and as you're going up the stairs, there's a further blast of cold. You're not sure necessarily where it comes from, but Gundyr's making a save, and Kellyan is going unconscious.
Yeah, Kellyan's going unconscious and gonna make death saving throws. That's for sure.
This is gonna be great. You added D6 to your being inspired by my fuck you.
Yeah, that's
You've-
The
I've been
Nazgul.
inspired by your fuck you. Apparently your inspiration was like phenomenal because of roll 6. So, yeah. Dex save.
Yes,
is
it's a dex
going to
save.
yeah. Dex save's gonna be a 26, courtesy of
Okay,
courtesy of Kellyan right over there. Just
just to be sure.
oh man.
So good news, you make that save and only take 30 something points of damage. 30, just 30.
Oh
Oh,
man, that's
oh.
still a lot though. Like,
Ooh.
come on, man.
That hurts. That hurts.
There's a bunch of yelling and all of that as a bunch of dwarves see the Balrog, right? And you guys are running that direction, and there's yelling and fighting and cold, and a couple of the personal guard come your direction too to like rally the other dwarves, and you guys are stuck in the middle of that. Gundyr, your plan is probably, I mean, when do you stop running?
I don't stop running until we get out of the place.
What is the place? Khazad-dûm?
Yeah, once we get to the bridge, and while I'm running past these dwarves, keep telling everyone to run. Get out of here now.
Sure. So, Willid, are you following Gundyr? He's faster than you, so he's going to catch you.
But I'm also clearing a path for you.
I kind of want to stay hidden. I don't want them to spot me and be able to follow where I went.
Okay.
So do you want me to make another roll or?
No, you're good for now. There's lots of. It's easy to stay hidden in this situation. I just
Because
wanted
I'm
to know if you were going
tired.
with Gundyr.
I'm still suffering from frostbite.
We got some more of that for you. Okay.
We got more of that.
So Gundyr, as you get to the bridge, there's the big chasm there. As you got the bridge,
Right.
you see that like orcs and trolls are like crawling out from the chasm into the place here, and they're fighting with the dwarves now.
All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna carry Killian and try and fight through my way through these to get out of here.
Okay, Kellyan, make a death save.
Ugh. Ooh. Ooh. Can I use an inspiration?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Death save.
Oh, death
Did you
save! I
roll
rolled
a
one.
one?
I did.
Oh
Do I add anything to a death save?
no! No, it's just
No.
10 plus.
No, you
Okay.
had your Constitution.
I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. 10.
that's a
Okay.
success.
That's the number you needed. Yes.
I know. I
Did
rolled
you
a
need
7.
You need a
Uh,
10 plus to make you one death saving throw
Okay.
at least.
Give me another one there, Kellyan. We're just gonna do some death saves.
Oh, fuck me.
We're just gonna decide right here and now whether or not you die.
I
hope
rolled a
you're cool with that.
got a 9.
That's
Is
one
that a-
failure.
That's a total of 9, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
a
you're 1 and
failure.
1. Give me another roll.
Oh my goodness, this is too stressful, man. Oh.
Come
Okay.
on, Killian, you
Come
can
on,
do
please.
this.
I need to roll
Come
well.
on, come on, Killian.
All right, inspiration. Down to one last one.
Spending her inspiration on
I've been rolling ones, man. Okay. I got a 13.
All right,
Okay,
that's a
2 for 1.
success.
You're good.
It's 2 for 1. One
Just
more and you're
one more and you're good.
stabilized.
Can do I see this? I can heal her.
I mean, there's a reason I asked if you were following, Willard,
Yeah,
but no.
I know.
And
No,
this
you're-
is the specific
I
reason.
left her behind. I thought she was gonna die, so that's why I'm not.
I mean, yeah, Willard might think Kellyan is dead at this point. That's well within the realm of things.
Right, that's right.
Kellyan, give me one more roll.
Come on, or 2 more.
I mean, we're hoping it's not. We're
What it
hoping we're not
is.
getting to 2, right?
Right.
Fuck. Using my last inspiration. I rolled a 4. Okay.
Okay.
Natural 20.
Well,
Oh my goodness.
Killian, you're killing me here.
I'm killing myself. Oh my goodness. I need a drink. I need a drink.
Okay, well, so let's do some narrating for how this works out, because we're well past the normal end of session, and we'll get there. Anyways,
Oh my god.
so Gundyr, you were able to fight your way out, carrying Kellyan. There's a lot of dwarves helping here, and a lot of them are very confused. There
And
is.
I keep telling them to run. Get
You're
out of
unsure
here.
what else is going on in Khazad-dûm, and you break out there into the front, or into the Dimral Dale, with Kellyan. You're unsure if Kellyan is alive or dead, but actually you probably don't stop till you're like, in sight of Lorien, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, basically.
mean-
I run out of the front door and I just keep going because it's the adrenaline and the friends got me going now.
And Willid, you spend some time hanging out in here, and you can definitely see that you see dwarves fighting dwarves, you see orcs fighting dwarves. There's rumor of the Balrog. Nobody knows what it is, but there's definitely the people in that area seem to be losing, and there's a lot of frost and cold within Khazad-dûm. You eventually try and like get out the front door, but it's totally closed at that point. There's too much fighting for a little hobbit because the bridge is really hard to sneak over, right? So you look around for other ways out.
So am I on the west side then? Is that
You're currently on the east side. You know the way to the west, but it's a long journey, right? It's a couple
I'm
of
not gonna.
days.
I need to meet. If I can't link up with Gundyr, I don't know where he went exactly.
Gloria.
You know where we're supposed to meet up, though.
But Lorien is where we're supposed to meet, so that's where I'm going. Staying on the east side.
So after like avoiding and trying to find a way out, you eventually find a staircase that goes up, and you keep doing that for a long time and a long time, and you're pretty much all by yourself, and you eventually come out at the top, like a day later, at the top of Redhorn Peak, staring out at the snow, going, "Oh crap! I already have a level of exhaustion." But you've got Durin's axe.
Can I make a little sling for myself so I don't have to freaking carry this thing down the mountains?
Or make it a sled.
And like I am trying to stay hidden and unnoticed.
Okay,
So
So, I
I'm
mean-
gonna ramp it.
I mean, I did the staircase thing for you because that's the next obvious, other than the west exit from Moria. If you wanted to, I mean, I suppose another option would be to try and like stay hidden and wear it out and like ride it out until eventually one side won or another. But you've got no idea how long that is.
No, I'm out. I'm going to Lorien.
Okay, so you can see Lorien from the top of the mountain. It's very
Easy to find then. Hey,
easy to find.
Bonus points for seeing Lorien from the top of the mountain.
And and you settle off towards Lorien.
yeah, I really don't want to get spotted. And if anybody, I mean, maybe people won't know. I'm not going to be super worried about it, but I just don't want to draw attention to myself.
Yeah, well, that's part of why you
It's
ended
not
up where
just-
you were. Not too many people were on the stair, and
I mean, that's what hobbits are good at.
and now that you're up here, it's pretty quiet. You can a little tiny hobbit on the side of the mountain is not something people are paying attention to.
No, you're never gonna find that.
So you're just hoping you can make it to Lorien before you freeze to death or something up here. The good news for you, well, I don't have any more.
I don't have any more good news for you because you spent it all.
I mean, at some point you could just start. If you had some skis, this would be the right place for it. So
Right?
Use your frying pan as a snow.
That's true. You probably keep it greased and stuff like a cook does, so it should be good to go, man.
It should be good to go. It's big.
I could put it on my foot, maybe strap
You
it to my
can
foot, and
use
then I need
the
another one.
you can use the
ha-
frying pan
yeah,
as
the-
a snowboard, and then the axe as your rudder.
Ah. Dragging it
Because
behind
I'm
me.
sure that's what Durin had in mind when he created
It's
this.
sharpening it.
It'll be used as a rudder at some point in history.
okay, well, with you headed towards Lorien and Gundyr headed that direction, you have now officially left Khazad-dûm, and we're done for the evening.
My hands are shaking, Greg. Like, look at
So
this.
Stressful.
It is so fucking stressful, man. I almost died.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you sure did.
I need a drink.
Guys, Kellyan died.
Willard,
Left her behind.
You needed to. That's what she would have wanted.
I don't know where Gundyr is.
And actually, she probably believes that she is dead too,
Julian's probably
because she
dead.
doesn't probably remember being scooped up by somebody because of the blood loss and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, you blacked out before we escaped, so and the odds are you don't regain consciousness until we get to Lorien.
Well, and there's also the I mean, we haven't talked about the shadow points and stuff like that you get for facing down the Nazgul and the like. We'll discuss those details
So
later.
much of that.
Because there's like a whole black breath injury thing to tackle as well. Good news though, no Morgul blades. He didn't have any available to him here. So
Great. It was
Ooh, thank God for small miracles.
okay, well, to go back to our Mirkwood group. So, well, gosh, I bet you guys are sad you went to Mirkwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys really
Sad.
fucking lucked out.
And
Bastard.
here, I thought Mirkwood would be the worst option.
I mean, you could have. I mean,
Why
look
did
at
you
it.
think it would be the worst?
Because it's like the biggest, bitchiest, like, elven king there is.
Hey, that's my dad. You watch yourself.
Delirious from Bloodlust here.
I don't know, Kellyanne. I mean, you could have just been like yelled at by an arrogant elf. I mean, that's got to be worse than what
Wait,
happened,
you didn't
right?
know how stressful that
That's
was for me. He said he might kill me.
Twice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
being
twice.
threatened that you're going to die versus actual dying. I mean, are scary.
Oh, fuck.
Sorry.
Do you guys send
Ugh.
us something at all that tells us?
How? How? We're running for
Oh
our
yeah,
lives.
let me just catch a
Right.
bird. Send you a message.
Well,
Mostly
yeah,
We'll guess.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
yeah,
Gundyr is raging or whatever he is doing.
dude,
frenzy.
I am frenzying.
Well, just for this last piece, right? When Gundyr is going to run himself to exhaustion, and he's going to collapse on the border of Lorien, unconscious, with Kellyan, and the elves are going to like do their thing, right? So, it's a while before this all solves itself out.
Oh boy.
A cutscene.
But good news,
so,
Willard, you're not going to be the only character with exhaustion right now.
Yeah, no, I'm also gonna be there right with you.
All right.
Ugh.
Well, this went well.
So, speaking of that, Nestor, what was your favorite part of the session?
God!
Well, oh boy, my dad gave me his blessing, and I was not expecting. I 100% expected to be like, "I'm leaving, and you can't do anything about it." And for him to be like, "Fuck yes," me to be like, "Dad, no." But then he was like, "All right, you're obviously in the middle of things. You can leave, but I have a cabin." I was like, "No,
I
I'm
have
just
an
gonna do that."
ulterior motive.
I was gonna do that anyway, so like this works out for me. I'm totally agreed.
It's okay. It's
So-
just the first step on Thranduil's trip to the Shadow.
Well, I'll be with him, so hopefully it ends well. But
Things
that
are-
was,
I mean,
liked,
You guys
I
remember?
liked the interactions.
You guys all remember 3 sessions ago, right? When it was all light and happy, right? Okay. Anyways,
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened?
God, we had so much optimism. I wonder what happened to it. Oh, it was destroyed by an ice Balrog. That's what happened.
It's okay. We're gonna go fight him later. Don't worry.
We're glad we sent the box.
Wait,
to
we are?
Moria.
I'm
Yeah.
so glad we sent the
Uh,
box to Moria.
That
What
was
did you
So
think
my-
we were gonna do? Go to the Scar? I mean, we might still do that, but the other party won't know. But then we'll go fight the Ice Balrog and save Moria, and everything's good. Y'all are just in a dark mood, right? Don't worry, I'm coming.
so I
All
mean,
of us are
I
in
do
the dark
recommend
because
though
we're unconscious.
that even if you're all together and you want to fight the Ice Balrog, that you don't fight the Ice Nazgul at the same time. Just gonna
right. Yeah.
throw that out there for
Yeah, that's
strategic
smart.
planning
That's really
purposes.
smart, Greg.
I was stupidly hopeful, thinking that if I take down Durian really quick, then it would be a relatively decent fight between me and the Nazgul, enough for like escape to happen. But no, Ice Balrog had to come.
I mean, to be fair, you're pretty overmatched by the Nazgul too, probably.
Yeah, the
well,
combo.
totally. Oh,
Side
totally
note-
was. But
Side note: you
I
are
was
all
gonna-
getting a level after this, just so you know.
Thanks.
Hey!
Hey,
Oh yeah, Kelly, nobody can blame you. Like you and me together couldn't take the ice fucking Nazgul. That was not gonna happen.
No.
Okay, Willa, did you have a favorite thing? Did you say?
My favorite thing was that my personal theory about what we did wrong with the box was disproven, and that was that we hadn't actually captured the Ice King, that we had captured a faux ice cream.
Ice cream.
Ice
Ice cream.
Oh, ice cream.
No,
Because
not
we
from ice
we just
cream.
tackled him into a box and then didn't check to make sure it was actually the Ice King. So I'm glad I was wrong about that. That was my favorite part. Everything
Yeah,
else.
my favorite part was
Well,
that
I'm also very
It was
glad that
totally him.
Thranduil didn't actually try to murder anyone, and that seems to be
Hey.
okay. So that's very positive. Yep,
Okay.
that's the good stuff.
That is about it.
I guarantee you there'll be or more good stuff later. Allred?
My favorite part of the session was not going to Moria. I mean, I don't know if anything more really needs to be said. I didn't end up in that shit show.
You could have been useful in this shit show, I
I
would
mean,
add.
yeah.
Yeah.
but-
Hey, he was great moral support and a
But
potential.
the thing is, like, it would have been great
option.
until the Belrog came, and then we all would have got fucked. So the smaller group of people to run away, the better.
There's some logic there.
Yeah.
There's some logic.
Okay, Gundyr, I'm leaving Kellyan for last.
Yeah, my favorite part was most definitely listening to Team Mirkwood go to Mirkwood and talk about shit, and then like having me and Kelly sitting here quietly raging,
So good.
and then we're just like, "This sucks. He's such an asshole. Like, why are we breaking chairs and shouting?" And it's like, "Oh, that's why we weren't invited."
Would have
That,
made it
that was a smart
yeah,
move
that
on
much
this
harder.
part. Because,
I mean,
boy, I would have thrown some chairs.
it would have gone real poorly in the Mirkwood then.
It would have gone poorly.
Hi,
in
Dad.
Mirkwood.
Look at these disrespectful humans I'm gonna bring into your kingdom without telling you after I ran away. And you're mad
Or
at me.
be
by the way,
rationally
I'm dating
protective
one
of
of
their
them.
friend.
They look
Yeah.
like animals. Fuck you, man. You don't have to take your shit. I'm gonna toss your chairs.
Oh boy.
Although to be fair,
Just don't
my
break any
character
plates.
has grown enough where
Just
she
don't
wouldn't
break
do
any
that first, but
plates.
she would glare very, very hard, and that would be it.
Glur.
Okay, Kellyan, what's your favorite?
Not dying. I think. But to be serious, no. What I really liked was, you know, how it's just like I don't know. I really liked everything, so it's really hard because like the whole like shadow guy coming to collect his daughter thing was really cool. Didn't see that happening.
Mhm.
What I also enjoyed was the interaction and like basically the backhanded compliments that the like that he did to Nestriel. Like, and he'd be like, "Oh, my daughter," or how the pauses and stuff. It was just really good interaction. I really loved that, and I enjoyed it so much. And you know, I really enjoyed how you know Willard was able to take the axe, like put two and two together, and was like, "No, let's do it," and did the right thing by leaving me behind to die for the greater good. And I think that was really good, like for his character, because you know, like character, like probably 4 or 5 sessions ago, maybe he would not have made that decision. I don't know, but
Well, you know, in the last session, I swore an oath on my sword over my mother's dead soul.
yeah. That so then I mean like that about like you can see all this character growth that's happening to everybody like in this session. That was really awesome. And Gundyr like actually listening and going like, okay, well I have a bigger like there's a bigger thing out there than just me and what I want, and him being able to run away, and Allred being calm, cool, and collected when a lot of us probably in this situation wouldn't have. I mean like everybody did
Yeah.
very well, and I like that.
There's definitely some character growth.
Yeah. And it was very well showcased in this particular episode.
There was definitely GM beating on players today as a whole. So
no.
we'll try it.
Like-
I don't do that every session, but there's some darkness here, and you guys went to Moria, so and some other things. There's good stuff to come. Optimistic. I will say that one of my favorite things was playing Thranduil, and dramatic pausing was great.
Yes.
Fantastic job.
I'm going to say that my favorite thing, this is mostly so that you all remember it, was the Nazgul turning to Kellyan and saying, I follow him because he's got the ring.
That's
And
an
what
amazing-
exactly does that mean? With that, we're going to sign off, and we will
Okay.
see you
Oh,
all
that's
next
so
time.
mean.
Have a
That's
great
cold,
time in.
Greg. That's cold.
Well,
Everyone
hopefully
have
he
happy
died.
social distancing.
I didn't.
And,
hear- all
we'll
I
do
could
our
hear
thing.
was this music.
Happy
Happy
social distancing.
Bye
That's a good
bye.
sign off.